Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the MadRabbit, and I'm running a KCT with the Test Server League Old School. As you can see, we got some pretty cool members, pretty good players. Enjoy the footage. In the meantime, I'm going to be talking about Stats Revamp 1.2 and Atomic Powers. Now, the following are my observations, my doubts, my opinions, and suggestions about the changes. Most of the tests were conducted at 173 CR with 170 skill points, and combat overall felt slower, like the pace of combat. I found myself wanting to do more throughout my rotation, but being limited either by my power's ability to be clipped or a lack of power as far as my power bar. As part of my test, at first I frequently changed loadouts and playstyles. I played with today's PI with the weapon, I played with the combo, with and without the weapon, and I played a mix of the two. And I fine-tuned them along the way and ended up with some good loadouts. And to find out what certain loadouts needed to work, power-wise and timing-wise, I spec'd accordingly. Same went for tanking, but I'll talk about DPS first. Now, once I felt more confident with certain loadouts, I began to focus on how I was speccing and modding. To find out what was helping and what wasn't, I went to extremes at first. Did an all might build, an all prec build, might and prec, power, then I spec'd all vit, then I spec'd vit and power might, many other combinations just to see the results and learn how it was helping out and what I was trying to do. Now, I even had a theory while using Hand Blaster Solar Flare clip Days PI rotation that if I'm clipping Hand Blasters, then pressing a power, right, that I should spec twice as much precision than might, as per the 2-to-1 ratio of the 80% of my rotation. But it didn't work out. I started noticing that powers hit roughly 2 times as hard as weapon combos, even spec full precision. So I ended up just specking full might on this build as well, and since the Hand Blaster served enough power to run the rotation at medium to fast pace, but not like super fast. Here's looking at you, Phase Dodge, which every movement should really have, but I'll get to that. I just wish we would have a little bit more power to go ahead and run the rotations how I wanted to without feeling limited. Now, as far as the combos testing went, I've read a lot of the feedback on the main thread in the forums, which I'm probably going to go ahead and post this on. And a lot of them people are stating that the combos is still viable. Some are saying that it's not, but some are saying that it's still viable. Which one? Because even with maxed out power, Vim power, mods, and skill point wise, I would run out of power. Something really important to note is that when I say combo powers, I mean comboing between two powers consistently. As far as comboing goes, I have found 5 ways to combo. Some work better than others, and here are a list from simple to complex and power consumption and DPS. Number 1, you're using a Daze PI with weapon loadout and you include one combo move. Combo way number 2. Now it's the same as above, but you combo once between 2 powers. Style number 3, using true combo loadout. Comboing between 2 powers consistently clipped on the second tap, making it the 1 tick, 2 tick, and then it repeats itself. This is different styles of clipping right now that I'm going to talk about. And when I talk about ticks, I mean about might burst damage. You know what I mean? Those are the ticks. That's how you're going to see them if you're playing this style. Number 4, press combo power, right? Clipping that first tap with the second power and tapping that one twice. This is the 1 tick, 2 tick, 2 tick, and then it repeats, or vice versa. So you're basically comboing once and then comboing twice, instead of just, constantly repeating each other. Alright, and then you got number 5, the Burn'em, which is you press a combo power, you tap into it once, and then you clip it with a second combo power, and then you tap into that once, and then you clip it with a third combo power, and you tap into that once, and then it restarts, but then you just keep going as it gets 1 tick in the beginning, and then you start getting 2 ticks and 2 ticks and 2 ticks and 2 ticks, and it does maximum damage. It's the most you can get with atomic, really, but you can only do a rotation and a half at best with a lot of power. I still found moments to max out damage, mainly at full power via soders or supply drops I was able to run through in the raid, etc., and only for a rotation or two or to get extra DPS in. But I would still run out of power, even though I would start to like hold back, or should I say feel limited, right? But hey, look, these are some of the things I liked about DPS, but I wish I could play combo. I like that the aura activates much quicker. You just press a combo power, tap into it once, and clear it. Clip that with an aura activator like Neutrino Blast or Atom Powered Assault. DPS or tank stance makes it a lot easier to turn on your aura. Atomic keeps up and can often lead with in certain situations with certain loadouts and rotations. So Atomic is not a bad DPS power. It's a great DPS power, as a matter of fact. But you gotta work for it like really hard. So I'll tell you that nothing in the power seems overpowered. That's another good thing. But in the sense, that just means that some things are underpowered, and they are. It's got to be taken a second look at. Now, Radiation Burn, the 100% supercharge, is friggin' awesome. It's a great animation, great damage. You know, with the supercharged generator, it feels, you know, not too bad waiting for a 100%er to come around. I like it. Maybe they should do that to Blizzard, make it a 100%er. The cooldown on the, if you're using the supercharged generator, the cooldown on the supercharge just doesn't match up with a 50%er as well as it does with a 100%er. And another positive is that once I started getting comfortable with a playstyle, like the Daze PI weapon clipping with full might, like the one that you're seeing here now, I saw myself switching 1 or 2 powers in my loadout, as you'll see me switching in the content we're playing now, to maximize potential depending on the situation within the content, which was fun, and it required skill and knowledge of the power and the content. It was a rewarding experience, you know what I mean? Now, some doubts and suggestions I have include, since the AMs are gone, does the second tab of the combo power hit harder than the first? Or even the actual hit from the casting of the power itself? Like, are they hitting all equally? Crit, non-crit, ballpark? See what I'm saying? Because remember, if the AMs are gone, which the second tab was the one that hit hardest, now they're gone. So what are you gonna do now? Are they gonna all hit within the same ballpark? You know, the power itself, the first tab and the second tab? That's something I would like to find out. You also stated that the combos are hitting harder via power interactions, PIs, right? When your aura is activated. Although I didn't notice a difference. For example, sometimes I would just press the first combo power and or tap without the aura, and I would crit around 15 to 18k, more or less, right? And non-crits would be somewhere around 6 to 8k. But once the aura was activated, I feel I saw the same numbers with crits and non-crit hits, you know, around 15 to 18k with crits and around 6 to 8k with non-crits. So maybe I saw just a few more crits every now and then, but I don't know. It would still happen even if I let the aura turned off if I was doing the Burnham, because you got to get to the second tap to keep the aura activated, which you don't do with the Burnham. So, but you can, because you know you have Neutrino Blast, but that's another story. Now, another power, Thermochemical Explosion. Why does Thermochemical Explosion, the melee combo power next to Atom Splitter, which is the other melee combo power that is your 360 pull? Well, Thermochemical Explosion has such a long cooldown. Please reduce the cooldown on this. It's too much. Is it because it has a CC factor that it has such a long cooldown? Do you not intend us to combo more than 3 times without having to stop and run out of power? Or are we trying to make it so that we can combo indefinitely for as long as we want, or we can? Or are you just intending it for it to be something that one is supposed to do one time, 2 times, or 3 times? I just trying to figure it out. Speaking of which, when Atomic was released on the test server for the first time, thermochemical explosion with a 360 AoE. People complained about being countered too often, and it got switched to a wide cone AoE. Man, we have it back to a 360 degree AoE since we can no longer be countered. Neutron bomb, long range, costs a lot of power, too much compared to the two other range moves, Beta Surge, which is mid range, and Nuclear Burst, which is long range, which share power costs and cooldown times. Why so? Because I find it hitting in the same ballpark. Like, why is it costing so much? Make it hit harder. Alright, can the taps from the combo powers produce power back, or simply not cost any power to cast at all? Well, let me rephrase that. You see, you may be regenerating power after pressing a combo power, but it goes back down after a tap. It regens, but then it goes back down with a loss every interval. Irradiate is a good is good because it sets up PI and it has a dot, but it has some flaws in my opinion. It's single target and it's not clippable after your supercharged generator, unleash antimatter. It would be nice to have a PI initiator as an AoE dot, as unleash antimatter is short mid range and kind of weak burst. It's kind of a weak burst. But that may come at a cost of losing our supercharged generator within the first clip, which leads me to my next suggestion. Why don't you either do this? Okay, check it. Why don't you either give us scaled, depending on cooldown times, supercharged generating abilities to a few more of our powers. You know, give us a few more supercharged generators, specifically those that initiate PIs. Or let us choose which power we want to be our supercharged generator for our loadout. And you increase the variety of loadouts immensely just by, all you gotta do is just scale down the ability according to the cooldown of your chosen power. And man, that shit would be awesome. Because you could basically, make any power in your loadout in whatever time of your rotation your supercharged generator. Now, I much rather see Electron Flare having a wider 360 AoE dot range as well. I would rather have it initiate PI and be a supercharged generator. But I still like it and I find it useful sometimes. May I also suggest you take another look at what powers can be clippable and or clipped with. If more powers were clippable on the way in, like clipping Unleash Antimatter into Electron Flare, or let's say for Ice, Wintry Tempest into Bitter Winds, if they can clip those two powers and do it all in the same time frame and push that much more damage out, that would create, different and more exciting and fast-paced loadouts. Alright, and if what I just talked about isn't possible, can all movement modes receive like a phase dodge type move so that they can clip powers that usually aren't clippable? Also, this would be way more viable if phase dodge ability didn't cost so much power. Make it so that phase dodge is like an innate for everyone, like a breakout. Just change the animation to suit the movement mode, so the flavor's still there. It still goes with the lore. And make it like our breakout, where they cost nearly no power at all, and it does no damage. Phase dodge does no damage, and if you're not fast enough and can't clip out of it, it's gonna cost you a slot in your power moves anyways. So you really gotta be good to take advantage of that. But you'd be able to go ahead and create a different playstyle as well with different types of loadouts. And if you start integrating all of these changes, you start to add a lot of complexity to the game. You know what I'm saying? Also, one last suggestion. If we may also be able to assign which powers set up our PIs, and then which powers hit harder when our PIs are activated instead of them being pre-assigned for us, and the system to show us how that works. Like, I know this may not work across the board with all powers, but hey, you're the devs. Make it work, make it happen. Give us the ability to choose whether a power is going to be our supercharged generator and or our PI initiator, or the one that hits harder when your PI is already initiated. And then, across the board, make a bunch of powers more clippable, or, just some of the suggestions I've been throwing out there. Like aside from the powers, I believe some of these game changes could bring an insane mix of variety to the game. Not only that, as I was talking about before, complexity. And it brings it through simplicity, but it makes it complex. The thing is this, I'm having a lot of fun in the stats revamp because it's all a challenge to figure it all out, I like that. I like the challenge of trying to figure something out and break the meta. And with taking away the AMs, taking away weapon mastery, tweaking the powers, making the stats matter, you've definitely made it a challenge for all of us to figure it out. And I, a veteran in the game, I'm loving it. Not all the choices that you guys have made, but your willingness to shake it up and attempt balance. I'm liking that. Which in turn gives me something to strive for as a player within, the knowledge of the power and the whole of the game. But that's what I'm afraid of right there. I'm afraid that we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out the powers. And we're going to figure them out probably too soon. We're going to probably lose interest, because we may end up with one loadout anyways, switching a power here and there. And once that loadout becomes known, it'll be the one that everyone's using, and people complain that there's no variety. In all reality, no one stopped you from playing a different loadout before. When we had advanced mechanics and when we had weapon mastery, it was a noticeable lack of damage that steered you towards a staple loadout and nullifying a lot of powers that are cool and have great potential. Now these changes would breed a level of complexity that with balance could see completely different loadouts within the same power pushing out same ballpark DPS. They are simple changes, as I said, but they will bring a deep level of complexity to a new foundation you're trying to establish with the stats revamp. And that's it. Next up will be my tanking review. Subscribe and stay tuned for that. Hit that like button if you liked what you heard today and like what you saw in the video. We ran with Balkan today and a couple other YouTubers in that run, so that was a pretty cool run at KCT. I hope you enjoyed the video. Share if you like my opinion, and feel free to go ahead and leave yours in the comments. Hit that like button and take it easy, y'all. MadRabbit out.